Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. Today we're trying something new, something a little bit different. I'm gonna start sharing my training philosophy with you guys more in depth. So today we're going through my workout split, the training program I'm following to get jacked and stacked during my current bulk. So as this is the first video when I do this kind of thing, I want to give a little general intro that I've been thinking, and a lot of my content is kind of general. You know, I talk about the philosophy, the principles you need to understand in order to change who you are and improve yourself. And it has a lot to do with me coming from the place I did, you know. Like not even 4 years ago, I didn't even know anything about training, losing weight, building muscle, fasting, nutrition, all that stuff. And it's not just that I decided to get ripped, you know. I came from a place of being depressed and not feeling well, dealing with anxiety, you know. So I know there's a whole spiritual aspect to the whole thing, and that most people looking that are not feeling all that well and aren't really that healthy, like yes, improving your diet and training, you know, is always going to be a huge part of that. But it's not that you have to get so nitty-gritty into the details. You just have to understand the general principles. What do you need to do, you know? And a lot of people I've worked with are more in that spot too. But now that I'm doing this full time, the content creating, online coaching, being an influencer, I guess, even though I hate that word, I have more time to just do more content. So I will keep doing the motivational philosophy, talking about principle stuff, but I'm gonna start getting more into the nitty gritty because of course I am fucking great at the training. I know I have reached very advanced results. And for my own training, I do think about so much. I know how much thinking and planning and philosophy and planning every single detail of my training looks like. And so I do have a lot of people that follow me that are kind of in a similar spot I used to be, but also a lot of people that maybe were or aren't at all, but like my approach to things with the fasting, like little uncommon sense approach to things. And maybe did some results already, but are looking to take it to the next level. So I'm using this video. I haven't planned at all what I'm gonna talk about, but to be honest, I just recorded a fucking 35-minute video without audio. I even double-checked that everything was working. I must have hit this mute button here before. It's very annoying. But yeah, I didn't plan everything. Of course, now I've done it once already, but I want to go through this, talk about whatever comes to mind about my training program, and then encourage you guys to comment a lot, like ask me about things I'm talking about here, but about training in general, anything you can think about, like what would you recommend for me with this situation, or bulking, cutting, how my chest is lacking, whatever you can think about with training. Take the chance to comment here, and I can of course help you some immediately directly in the comments, but it will also give me inspiration for more content like this in the future. So okay, first of all, let's talk about my style of training. I would call it a power building style, but some people, when they say that, they still focus more on like compound lifts, that they want to get really strong bench press or stuff like that, for instance, and want to build muscle at the same time. And I have kind of a similar thing, but it's kind of the opposite, that I'm working on my aesthetics, developing a physique, but I want to do that getting as strong and athletic as possible at the same time. So you see, the priority might be slightly different there. And for instance, someone who wants to get a really good bench press, they might choose accessory exercises that target the muscles that are used in the bench press according to their weaknesses physically, you know. But I might choose accessory exercises to address more a complete aesthetic development. I might not, if I do the bench press, the other exercises I do might not have to do with improving the bench press. So you see. But anyway, let's just get into it. I'm doing push-pull legs twice per week. So if you don't know, push, chest, front, shoulder, triceps together, pull, back and biceps, and the legs is legs. But even there's some nuance that I might talk a bit more. The lower back you always have to have in mind when programming. But twice per week. And so I'm going to talk about the whole, like the holistics and why all the workouts together are the way they are. But first I'm just going to go through every single workout. So by the way, you could probably copy this program and make decent results, but have in mind that it's according to my needs and goals. And I, for instance, have a hamstring injury right now, so I'm very limited in what I can do, well, in my lower body in general, but especially for the hamstring, you know. So yeah, so we can also say this training program is based on it always starts with a compound exercise with 5 sets of 5, and that's like the meat of the workout always. So on leg day 1, we have front squat, 5 sets of 5, and it is, again, it's a good exercise, but it's not necessarily the best choice for hypertrophy, as a lot of the time will be more limited about with keeping the bar here, like your upper back strength. Well, it will often fatigue first in the upper back before the legs. But it's, again, because my hamstring, when I do hip hinge movements, when I break at the hip and bend over, that's when I can get some kind of issues. So the front squat allows you to stay more upright, and that's why I've chosen that. And it is a good exercise. It will preferentially hit the quads a bit more, because the center of gravity is different to back squat, and it's a lot of core strength in there too. But 5 sets of 5 there, where I just focus on increasing the weight by the minimum between workouts. Then we have the Nordic Hamstring, that, it worked great for my hamstring initially, but now I've had to take it out, because it doesn't work anymore. I've just put 5 sets, because it's a very heavy body weight movement, and I learned to do strict reps before going on this bulk, and I was just going to increase reps and eventually add some weight in there. I actually tried holding a plate a few times. So now, those are the main exercises for the workouts. Now we've stimulated the leg like heavy, and so now we get more to the just burning out the muscle. Like by the way, my style of training is very much that on heavy compounds, you don't necessarily go to failure, but high intensity still, but you keep a few reps, 1-2 reps in the tank, and progressive weight over time. And the other exercises, you might want to apply some progressive overload to, but it's more about after that initial stimulus from heavy weight burning out the muscle. So we have the leg extension, isolated quad exercise, of course, 10 to 15 reps, because I push them all to failure, And then on the last set, I will do something like a double drop set. So say that I get 12 reps, lower the weight with like 25%, push out 3 or 4 more reps, lower it again, 3 or 4 more reps, done. And the quads are just fried, So then we have the cable leg curl, unilateral. I do that unilaterally now because I have hamstring issues and I just like to have more control over the exercise, but exactly the same thinking as the leg extension, just that it's for the hamstring, the back of the thigh instead. And what I do differently right now is I take them to failure kind of, but I skip the drop set to, I like to train the hamstring hard where I can, but not like, I want it to heal too. I don't want to fry it too much when it's already compromised. Then we have the standing unilateral calf press. It's the only calf exercise I do right now. 1 calf at a time. I like it. You get a good stretch when standing and putting your whole body weight with the dumbbell on one leg. And then I push out 8 to 10 reps with the dumbbell. On the last set, I will drop the dumbbell and do like 4 more reps, just body weight. And then we have the Tibialis Raise, which is an interesting exercise, unusual. It's for the front of the underleg, it's because it's so easy to superset with calf press. It's good for the knee, but I like to think about things that most people don't think about, the aesthetic development of the front of their underleg, whatever you call it. I have actually developed them a little bit, and I think that's cool. So then we have the first push workout. So it starts with an incline bench press, 5 sets of 5. And the reason the flat bench press is not even in this program, and the reason for that, you see now how my training differs a little bit from someone like a power lifters. That I think most, I'm thinking of men now, because I'm thinking of me, And most men's chest is, you often can see some shape here, but it's here, it's lacking development. And so I like to put the heavy compound emphasizing the upper chest, and a lot of front delt is going to be involved in there as well. And here I just add the minimum between workouts and try to get all 5 sets of 5. Going really well so far. Then we have the flat dumbbell press for more mid-chest, and I prefer dumbbells generally, especially on the flat, when we're not thinking about just being stronger, being a power lifter, because the function of the chest is to move the upper arm towards the middle center of the body, and of course that happens to some extent with a barbell, but with the dumbbells you have the opportunity to get a better range of motion, better squeeze there. And so what I do here, I take the sets to failure, and on the last set I will drop 1 dumbbell after failure and take the one with 2 hands and push out some extra reps. And you'd be surprised, you don't get that many extra reps, even though you cut the weight in half. Weaker position too, of course, but you get like 3 or 5 more reps if you did 10 reps to fail. Then we have the cable fly high to low. So now we have a more isolated chest exercise when we're not pressing. We're actually just doing, but from that angle. And so look, if you see the combination of these exercises, the incline bench press, preferentially targeted, you can't isolate a part of a muscle, but you can emphasize. So we preferentially targeted upper chest, then preferentially mid chest with a dumbbell press, and now with the isolated cable fly, the lower chest. And I like to do that just to failure, and on the last set, like a kind of mechanical drop set, allowing the triceps to help out, pushing out a few extra reps on the last set. Then we have the behind the neck press, very dangerous exercise, you know, a lot of people would say, but not really if you have good shoulder health and that position just feels all right to you. Which it does to me. The reason I picked this is because it will still mainly target the front delt, but when you're with regular shoulder press, you're in front here, will be very focused on the front delt, but when you come behind your neck, it's similar. Another exercise I could have done is doing it just a shoulder press with dumbbells, because you come a bit more out with your elbows like that, and you're just gonna hit the mid delt more. And it's part of my philosophy for the aesthetic development. A lot of people say, like, for full shoulder development, you need to focus on the rear delt, and I think you should train the rear delt, but if you have good pushing and pulling programming, you will hit those a lot, even in the bigger movements, while the mid delt gets kind of left out, because it does this, you know. So I like to put emphasis with the shoulders on the mid delt. So I do that. Actually recently started doing, I didn't at first, but doing a drop set on the last set. Then of course when you do that with a barbell movement, you have to be smart with what weights you put on the side, so you just quickly shove them off and continue. And we have the lateral raise. I jumped ahead. Skull crushers, that I'm not sure that I should call skull crushers, because it's a lying tricep. I'm not here pushing with a C-bar. I'm getting as good of a stretch as I can. This is to emphasize, again, not isolate, but emphasize the long head of the triceps. And I will take these to failure. And so I will lose a rep or so between sets, and that's fine when you do failure training. It's still stimulating, but on the last set, when I can't extend the arm anymore, I will do kind of a mechanical drop set where I use the lats to get the bar here, push it up, allowing chest and shoulders to help out, and just go negative. Often 4 reps is what I end up with there. Then we have the lateral raise. Of course, the isolated mid-delt exercise. I like to not go too heavy on the weight, because then it's easy to start involving other muscles that we're not really trying to target. So I like to take something when I end up in 10 to 15 with kind of a strict form, isolating that mid-delt. And on the last set, I take them to failure. Very easy exercise to take to failure. And on the last set, when I can't get all the way, I just rep out partial reps until mid-delt is just screaming. Then we have the Titan press, kind of an unusual triceps exercise. This one is to emphasize more the other 2 heads of the triceps. So you lie on a 30-degree incline bench, put your hands close, elbows high, and then you extend the elbows while keeping the dumbbells close but not touching. And I will often, on these workouts, the last 2 isolated exercises, they don't really fatigue you centrally that much. They don't, as they're isolated, you know, the other muscle kind of rests while the other one is working. So I often do them as a superset, not like rushing into the other exercise, but just to save some time. I just catch my breath a little bit, 20 seconds, 30 seconds from the first exercise, and go to the other one. Then we have the first pull workout. So weighted chin-ups is the first exercise. A little special with body weight exercises when you're bulking, because your body weight is increasing. So the progressive overload is mostly just me getting heavier, you know. But that is a compound exercise. I like the chin-up, because I want to, again, I'm going to talk about the whole program, how it plays into itself, you know. But this is to emphasize, I like the chin-ups because it really isolates the lats more, and it's a lot of bicep action in there too. Then we have the seal row that I've had to switch out for some similar exercise now, because I've had to move around gyms. So the seal row is like a chest supported row with a bar. And you could do that pulling close to your body and get some lats in there. But I like to take a wider grip, go lower on the weight and pull more like that to hit more upper back and rear delt. Then we have the seated high cable row on a bench. This is the lats. They don't really get fully stretched here or here, but actually at a slight angle like that. So I like that. Do one side at a time, sitting, supporting myself with the other hand on the bench, pulling like that. Actually not much drop set action going on these exercises. It's a good exercise to just progressively overload with weight too. Then we have the invisible chair face pull that I do. So it's to hit more mid-back, and I like it because it's at an angle from this point, so you kind of eliminate upper trap involvement, which they often take over in many movements. But think of a regular face pull when you pull like this, but you're using so heavy weight that you have to move back, so you're kind of sitting in the air and hanging in the rope, pulling. It's kind of a behind the neck pull down, but only it's a more free motion. But I love that. I basically just take the sets to failure. Every once in a while, I'll just lower the weight and rep out on regular face pulls. Then we have the barbell curl. So a biceps exercise and kind of a compound exercise for the biceps, you know. So what I like to do with that is I take a weight that I can do 12 strict reps to failure, kind of, that I couldn't have done another strict rep. And if you do that, you're going to lose a lot of reps on the next set. So I start out the sets to come doing them strict, but when I need to, I just add in a little bit of momentum to get the bar up and just don't let it, I control the negative. Then we have the reverse flying cables. I like it with the cables because the dumbbell different races for the shoulders with dumbbells are good, but you can't never get a full stretch on them, because when we take the rear delt, if I would stand bent over with dumbbells like that, that's fine. But with the cables, we get an opportunity to get a full stretch here, pull like that. So I will do 3 sets to failure and do double drop set on the last set very often. Then we have the incline curls. So we had the first, you can see the pattern if you compare it to the push workout. Had a heavier skull crusher for tricep first, then the tighten press, you know. Here we had the barbell curl, and now the incline curl, where you sit on an incline, and it's a weakened position for the biceps, where your shoulder is extended behind your body. It will emphasize the outer part of your biceps a little bit, but that's, you know, you can target a little bit the outer head of the bicep, but it's not so. It's a weakened position. It's nice. It's most things we do with the biceps we're here, and it's a weakened position with a good stretch on the biceps there. And so I just do them to failure, and I will often, if possible, I will superset this with a reverse fly with cables too. And I'm afraid, I was afraid to, the mouse kind of fell asleep and I was afraid to hit stop on the recording. I guess I would have just had to edit two together. Okay, we have the next leg workout. So a trap bar deadlift I would have wanted to put a regular deadlift in there, but it's for my hamstring. And now I've had to change this too, because it felt alright on the hamstring while doing it, but it got inflamed every time afterwards. So I put the Nordic Hamstring here too, because again I'm limited in my hamstring options, and this I had to I just got some notification there. No, but this I've had to move out again. So then we have the Bulgarian split squat. That of course the trap bar deadlift will hit some quads, but here it hit it more directly with still a heavy exercise. So I do 3 sets of 8 with kettlebells. And on the last set I've actually done some drop sets here. I have the 2 kettlebells after 8. Drop the one, get like 4 more, drop the other, and then I can do like 8 more from that point. It's a disgusting 20 rep set, destroying the quads. Then, again, because I'm limited for hamstring, unilateral leg curl, and we have the calf press and tibialis raise again, because it's muscles I feel like I get away with not doing too much variation there. So then we have the second push workout. Now we put dips. 5x5, so we are on a different angle on our compound exercise now. And same with as with the chin up there. It might be a little weird with the progression because if your body weight is increasing too. Then we have the incline dumbbell press. So now we have an incline press again, but this time with dumbbells. The same approach as with a flat dumbbell press, that we start out doing 3 sets to failure, kind of. On the last one, when we reach failure, no, we can't get another rep, drop one, rep out a few more with 1 dumbbell. And then we have a neutral cable fly. So you can see again how we have the dip as the heavier but at lower angle. We have the incline with dumbbells, and for our isolated exercise, therefore we choose more of a middle angle. Stimulate the whole chest. Then we have the full range of motion upright row. If any of my clients are watching, I've called this the Cuban press. Of course, it doesn't really matter what you call exercises, but technically that's a similar but not the same exercise. But so regular upright row kind of looks like that. And this one, you just go all the way. So you have to use a lot less weight, because from this point it's just a lot heavier. And this will hit some upper back too. You have to always, when you program, you have to figure out what your recovery for specific muscles look like. But this too, I have my rest day after this workout before I have the next back workout, so I don't mind. I will do like 3 sets of 10, and on the last set, when I push out that, I will rep out a few half reps like that. We had triceps push down with a narrow grip. So this time I'm choosing a heavier exercise for the 2 other heads of the triceps, and with a narrow grip you can go quite heavy, and it's not a very fatiguing exercise at all, so I will do like a double drop set on that. I put 10 to 15 reps. I don't think that's quite right. I think I keep it, usually when I do it in this program, at least that way, I will keep it like more between 8 and 12. We have the cable lateral raise. I'll say these more isolated exercises, I will sometimes swap if something is busy, just taken on the gym, because it's the compound. Like the earlier something is in the program, the less prone I am to change something about it. So I'm sometimes, for instance, taking just lower weight on dumbbells and doing a full range of motion, lateral raise too. Louis race, also called. But the cable lateral raise I like for the same reason I like the cable reverse fly, because you get a good stretch on the deltoid there that you don't really get with dumbbells. 3 sets to failure, often a double drop set on the last set. And then we have the triceps row push away. So this time we took a little lighter exercise for the long head of the triceps, there with the rope pushing like that. And again, I will often superset these two, and on the push away, I will often, on the last set, when I reach failure, I will turn around, lower the weight, and just rep out, doing kind of a superset drop set like that. Then I have a rest day when I might do some lower body mobility, and then we have the last workout, the pull 2. I call it a Deadbar Row, but it's really like a deadlift. I see things that I get scared because my first video failed, but it's really a row where you're using the deadlift starting from the ground to use the momentum to overload the upper back. And that's the thing for me. I can't go heavy on deadlifts right now for my hamstring, but deadlift has been my best lift historically. So good thing for me is that I can use weight that is not too heavy on those muscles at all. And overload the upper back like that. So this is one where I will increase the weight between every workout. So it's overloading upper back, will be some lower back in there as well, especially when I started doing them heavier. But as you will see for the rest of this workout, it's very sparing on the lower back. Then we go to a close grip pull down. It's to isolate, again, more lats and biceps. I will do 3 sets to fail, often lose a rep between the set, do a double drop set on the last set, very similar to how I describe how I do on the leg extension. Then we have the seated row special edition. So it's an exercise, well, I'm sure people have done similar. I came up with it on my own, kind of. It's when you take a wide grip and you don't sit on the actual seat on the machine. If the machine allows for it, you go back behind that and sit on the floor. Use the seat as a chest support to eliminate lower back involvement. And then you just pull high. Again, so you have to go a lot lower than on a regular seated row in weight to emphasize more mid-back rear delt. Then we have a straight arm push down that I'm considering taking out the reverse fly from this workout and putting the straight arm push down there and replace it with some bigger exercise. But it's an isolated lat exercise. The lats, very often when you work them, you use biceps or other like elbow flexing muscles at the same time. In this one, you actually use a little bit of triceps along with it. But the lats moves the arm inwards to you. So they're pushing from there. I will often take them to failure and do a double drop set on the last set. Then we have I put the unilateral cable curl. We call it unilateral cable preacher curl. When you take a low cable, take a bench, support your arm on it, and kind of like great isolation for the biceps. And what I like to do is take it to failure on the first set, and when on the others, the reps I can't get, then I use the other hand to support, give a disgusting burn in the biceps. So right now, the reverse fly cables is there too. But I might put the straight arm push down there, as I said, put in some other back exercise. Then we have the Pelican cable curl. So it's an unusual one. You take a double cable, you go from, it's the same kind of thinking like with an incline curl, getting that stretch on the biceps. You go out, and then instead of doing like a chest fly, you just curl inwards from that point. Real burner too, often a double drop set there. So that's the program, and then because my updated program, it's like what I did the last time. My leg work, I just can't, like this. My leg workouts, because of my injury, I'm gonna have to take a little bit as it comes, as you say, like see on the day what works with my hamstring and stuff. So I'm not gonna bother going through those. But I'm going to talk about the program as a whole. So I have put below like ideal legs. What I would have done if I would don't have the hamstring injury. So I'm going to explain how the different workouts play into each other. Like, so on the first one, I would have put a back squat, because you won't be as limited by your upper back strength, and it was, you will be able to go heavier and stimulate the legs a bit more than with a front squat. And then I would put the Romanian deadlift. I fucking love those. It's still a heavy exercise with a hip hinge movement that we put as a secondary exercise. Great hamstring and glute exercise. Then I would just, because I go so hard on the first two, or they're heavy, I would just have the leg extension, leg curl, burn out those muscles. Have the unilateral calf raise and tibialis raise. Then the other leg workout, would have started with a regular deadlift followed by a Bulgarian split squat. So can you see how there is the same kind of movements are in the workouts? It's just that on the first workout, I make the main exercise, the 5x5 exercise, a squat movement, a back squat. And on the other one, a hip hinge movement, a deadlift. And by the way, I'll say here, some people don't think the deadlift is a good bodybuilding exercise, and I think that's true for some individuals. I've seen some really skinny guys pulling huge numbers, but for me, it's done wonders for like even my quads, but hamstrings, glutes, lower back, upper traps even. Yeah, so that's, you see how the variation with on the one workout, the main move is a squat, and on the other a hip hinge. And so when we take the push, I think I already explained it a little bit, that on the first one, our compound 5x5 is targeting more the upper chest here, and on the second one, the dips, we're targeting more the lower. And again, we have all the motions. In that, when we have the dips as the main exercise, we still have the incline dumbbell press, You see that kind of variation, and it's the same with the pulling workouts. Like the one is more oriented to lats, and one more to the upper back. But all the muscles get trained in both. But you see that on the first pull workout, we have the chin ups, more lat heavy there, and on the other part, we have the Deadbar Row. That's going to be more upper back, like that. So you see, that's kind of my system for it. So we'll talk a little bit about progression, how I get jacked and stacked, how I apply a progressive overload. So I like to take a really high training intensity. I believe in it for most people, but especially for me. But on big compound exercises, it's not, of course you could injure yourself, but it'll also be super fatiguing if you really go to failure. It's going to be fatiguing even when you leave reps in the tank, So on the 5x5 exercises are the ones where I don't have thinking of going to failure, kind of. I will just hit 5 sets of, take the front squat. I know I started at 115 kilos, and after 3 sets, I felt like, no, I'm going to drop the bar. So I lowered it to 110, finished the other 2 sets there. And the next time I come, hit all the sets on 115. Next time I increased to 117 and a half. I hit them. Now we'll see. We'll see the leg workouts again. I'm going to have to be a little flexible with this injury. The incline bench press, I've been able to hit all 5 sets of 5 and add the minimum every time, so that's fucking great. The chin-ups, it's one you have to, again, take as it comes, as I get heavier, progressive overload happens, so if I can just manage to do the same 5 sets of 5 with a 20 kilo weight in the weight belt, I am overloading it, but at some point, if I can feel like, you know what, that felt much lighter than it's done in a while, maybe I'll add like a 2.5 kilo plate to it or something. So I don't even have to go on with the other, like the trap bar deadlift. Yeah, it's gonna be changed. Actually, the back squat works now, so I'm gonna implement that no matter what, at least. But yeah, the dips, kind of the same problem as with a chin-ups or problem, but a little strange how you have to take your approach to it. The Deadbar Row, it's such a, not dangerous exercise, but it's a powerful, explosive exercise. And I started out at a lower weight than I thought I could have just to master the form, because I want to be controlled. I don't want to hurt myself doing that, But then for the other exercises, for instance, how I approach them. Exercises that I put like 8 to 12, I basically take everything to failure, I might, because I know I do, I do some kind of drop set on most exercises on the last set. I might not go for a rep that I fail, but when I think I probably can't do another one, I stop, with 8 to 12 exercises, like the flat dumbbell press there after the incline bench. Like on the first few workouts with the dumbbells I used, I just got 8 reps. But I'm happy because you have to think about the whole workout still. I have increased on the incline bench before, so that is fine. But then eventually, after doing just 8 reps with the dumbbells on 2 workouts, on the third workout I finally got 10 on the first 2 sets and maybe 9 on the last. And when I'm closer, and when I get like 12, 11 reps per set there, that's when I will go to the next dumbbells. So that's how I apply a progressive overload there. On the 10 to 15 exercises, they are isolated and they come after. You will at some point maybe increase those weights too, but you again look at the whole picture of the thing. If I increase on the incline bench press and a little bit on the dumbbell press, well, I've done more for the chest when I come to the isolated exercise. So you think about isolated exercise, you're of course not going to be able to just progress forever, like stacking the double cable machines for flies, So you might be like, yeah, I write it all down still, all the reps I do and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you got a more rep here, a rep more. But at some point, it might drop again, because when I increased the weight on the incline bench, like now I was closer to my limit or something, I got more fatigued from that. So it's more about metabolically stimulating the muscle, and you kind of view the progressive overload on those, that what happened before. So it's kind of the same, like what could we go to more here? Like, yeah, and I will, on the skull crushers here, for instance, I will increase the weight between workouts. Not everyone. I will, again, push towards a higher rep range before I increase there. But the Titan press, when I do it in this succession of exercises, it's just not likely that I'm going to improve that. It's more metabolically stimulating the muscle, and again, the overload of that exercise was doing more before coming to that exercise. And we have the same here with, like, what should we take? The seated high cable row on bench, that I will increase along with the chin-ups, but it's a little the same like with the dumbbell presses, that maybe I can't do it every single workout, but after a while, 8 to 10, yeah, when if I could get 10 like confidently on every set, then yeah, I'd increase the weight the minimum. I have the barbell curler. I just double check that you see all this that I'm talking about. Yeah, you do. Yeah, the barbell curl, I will increase the weight, not every single workout, but but then the incline curl is the same. The progressive overload of the incline curl, like, yeah, at some point on an exercise like that, I can probably take heavier dumbbells, but in this succession of exercises, I view it more as what happened before that, being the overload. And what more? Yeah, I think you see the point. I can do it's like with a second pull workout here. Yeah, I will be able to that unilateral cable preacher curl. I will be able to get more reps, eventually raise weight there. But the Pelican cable curl, after doing all of this, it's just going to be difficult. And again, the overload was really from the other exercises. But I think that's it. I think I'm very much tying the length of this video that I actually recorded audio on. So fucking annoying. But yeah, there's so many things I could go further into with this. That's why I'm a little, but I think since I'm starting this, I need you guys' help. Now I've gone through this, just said whatever I thought about going through it. I mean, now I came up with something I wanted to add to this, and it's about the lower back. I guess I can add that now that I thought about it. Like the lower back, you will notice that I put the deadlift on a leg day. And of course, a lot of back muscles are involved there, like the lower back. But I program that's things that are so tough to just get across. Like the whole selection of exercises, because I know that even a front squat and deadlifts and Romanian deadlifts that I would be doing on a leg day and stuff, they will hit back muscles too. But from my experience and I know that my back can handle the volume still, and that's why I often pick, because I know the lower back, I tend to have a very overactive lower back too. I tend to pick many back exercises that kind of spare the lower back a lot. But this is, again, if I was training more for strength, improving actual numbers, which I want to do, but if that was the main goal, improving numbers on the compounds, then I would probably train the lower back more directly, because it's so involved in both a squat and a deadlift, for instance. Again, so many things, but please, guys, help me now. Ask me things about that I talked about here. Ask me to clarify something it was unclear. Take the chance to ask anything training related. Like, what would you advise for me? I'm way this and I can't develop my arms. La la la. Whatever you can think about. I'm looking forward to sharing more of my training philosophy with you guys. And hopefully I would love to do more presentations like this when I prepare something that I can have on the side and go through. Hopefully I can I can of course show some training clips from the gym, but at some point I hope to be able to do like higher quality training videos where I can actually take you through an actual workout. Stuff like that. So guys, I'm just gonna end it now. Please comment, ask your questions, please like, please subscribe. I will see you later, guys. Peace.